West Chamber of Commerce meeting. We look forward to our time together today. Thank God for you. And we are going to have an amazing program today as we talk about doing business in Birmingham, doing business and specifically in the Western District of Birmingham. So we're so glad to have you with us. And again, I'm Frank Woodson, and I'm chairman of the board of the 5 Points West Chamber of Commerce. And once again, we are glad to have you here with us. We also welcome along with us. We also welcome along with us the Greater Birmingham Black Chamber of Commerce and the Alabama Black Business Alliance, as we seek to make sure that the resources that we have here in the Birmingham community are shared across this state and across this region. The stronger we are together, the stronger we are as individuals. So we are excited about being with you. Hey, this morning, I want to draw your attention to something some of you may be aware of, some of you may not be aware of. And and it has to do with the 5 Points West community, how we are viewed and how we look at ourselves. It's very, very important. And so we made a conscious effort as a business community to not only talk about business, but to change the way that the 5 Points West and the 5 Points West of Birmingham are viewed, not reimagining the 5 Points West community and not reimagining the Western District of Birmingham, Alabama, but literally let's redefine it by what's there. And we've got some of the most amazing facilities that are in this region that nobody really talks about. We don't have to reinvent. We don't have to reimagine. All we really have to do is talk about what already is. And so if you have not had a chance to go and check out the website, 5pointswestcommunity.org, we want to invite you to do that. We're just so glad that you have an opportunity to be with us this morning. And so we thank God for you. And again, the more we redefine who we are, or not really redefine, but define who we are, the stronger we are as a community. So I want to invite you all to be a part of talking well about what's right in the 5 Points West community. So just excited about it, get a chance to explore. Like, for instance, did you know that there are 2,000 acres of parkland that are in the 5 Points West community? 2,000 acres, right? And we've talked with Red Mountain State Park to talk about while they are advertising Red Mountain State Park, that they and we all join together to begin to tell the story of what the park system is like in this area. So as we prepare to open our businesses for the world and the like, we want them to see these other facilities that are here and the trails that are a part of what we have here in the Western District of Birmingham. Wow, people are saying, well, where are we? This is the Western District of Birmingham, right? And so we're doing more, we're expanding. You know, when it comes to health and wellness, we have amazing facilities that are here. People are saying, where are these buildings, right? We have a mental health facility. We have resources here that we do not talk about. And so again, I want to invite you to explore the West, right? 3 amazing colleges and universities that are right here west of Birmingham. And so when people come from around the world, they'll be able to look in and say, wow, where is this place right here? What, right? And they keep looking. And then when we're looking at our high schools that are here, amazing. And so we have a story to tell. So we're so glad that you are here with us. And this morning, we've got some very special guests that are with us. And Brother Corey is our vice president of 5 Points West. Chamber of Commerce and a brick and mortar business owner in the 5 Points West community. And he's going to introduce us to our first guest. And also, Brother Corey, good morning to you.
Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Man, it's a grand rising, right? Grand rising. We're doing well, man. And wanted you to welcome everyone here this morning, Brother Corey. Brother Corey is on the ground. He is our field general doing tours and recruiting businesses to the 5 Points West community. That's how it gets done. And this morning, he's going to introduce our one of our guests this morning, a developer. I know him as a businessman and a developer, Mr. Eric Guster. So we're in your hands, Brother Corey.
All right. So good morning, all. And today I have the pleasure to introduce the man, the myth. There's a lot of buildings being purchased in the area, and we're wondering, like, yo, man, I really want to buy that building. And then you go to it, and it's like, man, somebody already purchased it. And it's like, man, he beat me to the punch. Like, who is this guy? And so now I'm gonna tell a funny story. Now, me and Mr. Guster go back very, very far. I don't know if you remember this. The first house I was ever trying to purchase, I almost purchased from Mr. Guster over in the Fairfield area. So I've been knowing this guy as a businessman and a real estate mogul for the longest. And it's a pleasure now just to introduce Mr. Guster because here's the thing. He has a lot of properties on the Western area. And then that means he has a lot of opportunity to start new businesses in the West. So that's one big thing for us, man, because now we have someone who looks like us that is a property owner and we can get mortgages from. So don't let me continue to babble on about Mr. Guster because I can go on for days and days and days about it. But when we do, when he does come on, we do have a couple of questions for him about the way he purchases, why he purchases, and where he purchases. So without further ado, Mr. Eric Guster. Good morning, sir.
Welcome.
How are you? Good morning.
Hey, brother Eric, so a lot of people know you as the Lord. How'd you get started?
First of all, do I have to pay him for that introduction?
Man, I thought you already did.
Man, I'm like, hey, who is he about to introduce me?
So listen, no payment is necessary now, but now if I do need a rental on one of your buildings, let's just talk about maybe a little deduction in the payment. Let's do it that way, right?
I really appreciate it. I got started, to answer your question, Frank, I was a real estate agent. Before I went to law school, I was selling houses, and I learned how to what's called now flipping houses, and it's gotten on TV and all that stuff. I was buying, renting, selling houses back 25 years ago, aging myself right now. And the thing about that is I learned how to do everything on the construction end, because I go get my DeWalt drill and being there with the subs, learning how to do this stuff. I saw the crash happening in 06, 08. I saw that coming. So I went to law school. I was like, man, I need to find another industry because this real estate thing is going to crash a little bit. And it did. And I went to law school, and law school was great because I wanted to help people. I wanted a different industry that was stable for income purposes. And it was a blessing that I was able to go to law school, pass the bar first try, and really develop a law firm because I was helping the same people I was helping the real estate industry. So it was a very natural progression. And buying buildings, it just started happening. I was looking for offices about 10 years ago, bought one, then bought a second one, then fired my contractor, started developing it myself. I was like, man, I can really do this, because I never thought that I could really get into the commercial end of it ever, never really understood it enough. And then I would just stumbled into it. And that's what I love teaching our people, how you can do it, because the resources are there. We just have to learn how to do it. And one thing about us, so many of us are property owners and we just don't know what to do with it.
I'm glad that you said it that way. I have a question for you.
Sure.
So what makes you buy property in certain areas? Because I noticed the way you buy property is very, very strategic, and it seems as if you see things coming before they come. Hence, the bank in 5 Points West. Maybe the property that you just purchased, and I hope I'm not letting the cat out of the bag, that property that you just purchased downtown 3rd Avenue West, helping our scenic right out.
I like to buy where things are gonna, as I say, gonna finna happen. That's what I prefer. 5 Points West, I wanted that bank building about 10 years ago. I wanted that to be my very first purchase, actually. It was promised to somebody else. Jack Schaefer was supposed to buy it. When I went to City Hall, he was supposed to buy it. And that's why I sold multiple times. And so that's when I ended up on the east side with that building that a lot of people know about, and in Bessemer. I left that deal alone. And when Mayor Woodfin won, I reached out to him and said, hey, this bank building I've been asking about for years is still vacant. And he checked into it and said, yeah, it's available. And that's when I purchased that particular building, because I'm a graduate into high school.
Okay.
And I wanted my real estate development. 89.
Yeah, no, I said I won't hold that against you. I went to jail. We won't hold that against you.
Man, we're not gonna have that conversation today. We're gonna stay focused on this because we ain't gonna start that today. But I wanted my first development to be in Inslee, because that's home. I want to redevelop my folks' areas more than anything else. And what I do is I try to do deals with different people and try to fuel that money back to where it matters to me. Like the building we're going to build on that corner. I'm so excited about it. We don't know a timeline yet because the materials are sitting out in the Pacific Ocean and everything from China is slow. But we're working towards that end goal on that project.
So I saw a little excerpt of what that project looks like. Man, you're talking about changing the environment, changing the mindset of people. That would definitely do it. That would spark the catalyst to make other major businesses and other major developments happen in that area. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you. And that's the purpose. I want to build something that doesn't necessarily look like it belongs, but it does belong. Because this is what this could be. What works on 280 can work on 5 Points West.
Right.
It's just folks who need businesses to patronize, who need places to go and spend money. And that's why I made that commitment to do it. Some folks think I'm a little crazy for spending that amount of money, but this is in my heart. I know what our areas can look like, and it's my mission to make it happen.
So lastly, crazy people are the most wealthiest people. Let's look at Elon Musk. He couldn't have been categorized as a sane person. Just think about all the billionaires and millionaires. They never could have been categorized as a sane person. They had to be a little bit insane in order to take the risk that they took. Just think about, speaking of risk, think about the building again that you just purchased, like in the interest for 3rd Avenue West. That area had been isolated so long that it's been infested with homeless people. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the change that you're about to bring there will be the catalyst to open up 3rd Avenue, Highway 11 from both ends. If you look at it, you are one of the most powerful people in the area right now because you have a monopoly on both ends that enter into the Western District. And the things that you put there will be the catalyst to make other businesses think about their change when they come in to do infrastructure. So it's a big kudos to you, man. We are blessed to have you in our area. And we want to know if you could possibly put something in the chat. People want to get in touch with you. Other developers that may want to work around you or maybe work with you on a couple of things. So that would be great for us. Brother Frank, I don't know if you have any other questions for Mr. Guster.
I didn't. I can tell you this. I live in the 5 Points West community. And when you announce your plans for that area, I just want to say this, what it meant to us that live in the community. That building had been an eyesore and for so long. the boarded up, that kind of deal. And so it was so encouraging to us to see the fence going up around to protect it so that the homeless were not going in and it wasn't being vandalized. So that first step of development, guys, is so very, very important. When you are a business owner and you are in this area, then let the community know that you want to be a good partner. And so even though you don't have a timeline, you were intentional about putting that fence up around that facility. And putting the money in to these architectural plans and renderings. So people say, well, how come we're not building faster? I think you might have put significant money into resources into the architectural plans.
Yeah, development takes a long time and people don't understand that. I did not understand that until I started doing it. You have to, I'm just shoot straight. If this was not an election year, this building would be up. Straight up. My building was stalled because people did not want Randall Woodfin to say that he had development in Ensley.
Wow.
If you remember those Fox 6 debates, they were like, you ain't done nothing in Ensley. My building was stalled for 6 months. I'm getting emotional because it makes me mad. My money's been there, man. My bank has been ready. They call me every 2 weeks. When are we starting? I could not get a zoning meeting for 6 months. But then after the election, boom, zoning's back on schedule. So since we're here, I'm going to tell you what's up because I was ready to move. I closed on that last November. I wanted that thing up within a year so that I could say, Eric Gus bought this in 12 months, it was done. That was my goal. But if we were not in an election year, that thing would have been done.
Wow.
But I'll let y'all program continue.
No, but real talk, right? If you're a business person, you're looking at locating your business, or you're looking at expanding your business, sure, you got to have a business model, right? Without a doubt, you got to have a funding model in order to develop it, but you also have to have a political model or a policy model, understanding the area that you are in, and what are those things that developers look for, or cities or counties look for to invest in. And you guys, we talked about not having the incentives that we need and all of those things, so that we're not using 100% of our family's dollars, that we're looking at the community as a partner and as a city that, as a partner to come alongside of us. Government is not supposed to do all the work, but providing the infrastructure and helping us becomes so very important because it makes projects more doable when government can come alongside of us and work with us. And I got to know, did you have the support? So it was election season. Did you have the support of the administration?
Absolutely. Red carpet, this is what we can do. We were trying to get the project done. And like I said, that if you look at those debates, that was the only thing they could attack him on. And because I just wanted this project to be done because I hated that building sitting on that corner because it's an eyesore. It's been an eyesore for 15 years. And heck, I wanted to do that building 10 years ago. I wanted that before I did the Parkway East one because that's home to me. And wow. I'm getting a little wound up because it's personal to me that they stalled my project. And so we have to, and like you mentioned, the government has the ability to help. We have to lay that foundation and have our ducks in a row to get that help. The government isn't going to fund your project. They're going to, if you have the money to do it, then they can do the landscaping. They can do some type of incentives. There are things on the back end they can do to make it a little bit better for you and easier for you. But we have to lay that foundation and learn the foundation. That's what I love, teaching people how it works, because I'm in it now. And I love teaching our people how this really works, because everybody yelling, government needs to do this, government needs to do that. But you have to learn how it truly works. And when you have your ducks in a row, people can't tell you no. Banks and nobody can't tell you no. That's how I was able to do all this stuff. Bancorp couldn't tell me no because I had my ducks in a row. I dared them to tell me no on my projects. Now, I mean, if you want to, it's going to be on and popping. That's how I got all that stuff. So, and I enjoy teaching our folks how to get your profit and loss statement together, how to get your all of your tax documents together, so that when you go in and give you that loan package, they can't tell you no. And that's a powerful position to be in when you have you ain't begging them, you telling them, I'm ready to do this deal. Here are my documents. I know my debt to income ratio is straight. I know my credit is straight. I dare you to tell me no.
Wow. Well, let me say this. I got to say this. One of the reasons why we have to communicate, and as you see, we stream these programs on across our community. We know that in the community, you know, you've got the street committee. I call it, maybe I call them the neighborhood committee, not the street committee, but the neighborhood committee. Oh, that lawyer got that building, you know, and he's not doing nothing with it and all of that. But we, you know what? So what we decided to do was just call a brother up and say, look, let's see what's happening. So we stream this across to 5pointswest.com. That's that 5pointswest.com. That is the business, the Chamber of Commerce website, 5pointswest.com. And we want to promote 5 Points West Business District and the 5 Points West of Birmingham, those business districts. We want to promote them, but we also have the 5 Points West Community Alliance. And with that community alliance, yes, you have the neighborhoods, but you also have the schools. You also have the churches. You also have the other businesses that make up the whole community. We wanted them to hear from you this morning to know, one, that you're an Inslee guy, right? Now, I kind of live in, you know, I live in the kind of fake part of Inslee. They wouldn't say that, Bellevue Heights, right? But I still get to claim Inslee, man. I'm from E, right? And so hats off to you for saying, I'm going to take my family's dollars, because that's what a business person does. I'm going to take dollars from my family. I'm going to leverage my family's resources and money in order to make an investment in my community where I came from.
Yeah.
Not just popping up a business. So go ahead, brother. Thank
you. And I appreciate it. And that's what I aim to do. From day, I think 30 days in, we got it abated because there was asbestos in there. We spent money to get it abated, which ain't cheap.
I didn't see that outside though. I didn't see it.
Well, you won't see it because the asbestos was in the basement in the tile. So we went, in order to demolish the building, you have to get the asbestos out because it'll go in the air when the bulldozers. And then that's when we went last November to get the permit to demolish the building. That's when they told us no, and we had to go start jumping through hoops. We were going to demolish the building before last Christmas. But I know you have other guests, and we can talk about this like all day. But it's our goal to make, my goal is to build great projects that benefit everybody. And that's what we're aiming to do.
Well, one, we're just so appreciative having you here. And
thank you.
We wanted to hear your voice and let you speak. If you have not seen the renderings of the business, his business plan of what he wants to do with that corner, it is grand. This is a statement that says to this community, you have value. People know they can make money in the 5 Points West community. The stores that locate here have the highest numbers in their entity. We've got some 52 national brands right here in 5 Points West, right there in the shopping districts, about 250 businesses right there in that shopping district, 2,600 businesses west of I-65. People know they can put up a box and make money, but you decided to make a statement right there on that corner in which we can be proud of as a community.
Thank you.
And we want to say we appreciate it. Go ahead. Your final words.
Thank you very much. We have one of the spaces leased. I mean, my law firm is in one. We have one of the spaces leased, and I'm talking to a third potential tenant. So it may be 100% leased and just before we even break ground, which would be amazing. But money can be made everywhere, not necessarily everywhere. Money can be made in 5 Points West.
Yes.
And we have to make sure we capitalize on when businesses come, patronize them. When businesses come, protect them. When businesses come, make sure that you tell everybody to go to them. That way they stay. Just because a business is located there doesn't mean they can afford to stay. If when grocery stores come, don't let the product walk out the door. Don't be buying out of somebody's trunk because you're taking from that company. They're in a for-profit business, and business is to make a profit. And if the community has supported that business, they will stay. I'm going to support my folks. I have a lot of people supporting me no matter what, so I'm there to stay. I mean, we're developing buildings, so obviously I'm there to stay for a long time. But we have to get in the mindset of protecting those people who are here. You ain't got to go downtown. If there's a dentist who's in 5 Points West who can do your teeth very well, go to that dentist. Wow. If there's a doctor in 5 Points West who can treat you, go to that doctor and support them, because they are supporting you by probably hiring somebody who lives 5 blocks from you. But I know you got other guests, and I can talk.
Look, I want to say this. One of our projects, the first quarter of 2022, we're going to have a business directory online. So it's one thing to say shop in the West or shop at home, but when you don't know where the businesses are, when you don't know where the businesses are, then it makes it very difficult to shop in the West. And so we're gonna put that same directory that other cities have, that Vestavia Mountain Brook has. We're going to put that for the businesses that are in the 5 Points West community so that people can find you. And so, of course, it's a sorry dog that won't wag his own tail. So look at being a sponsor, a member of the 5 Points West Chamber of Commerce. The people say, how many members do you have? Well, we serve the whole community. This isn't your this is going to be our committee where we eat chicken wings, that kind of deal. No. We exist as a 501c3 to serve the businesses that are in the 5 Points West district. And so we do that by working closely with government and supporting, efforts with our administration, our city council people. We also do this by promoting it through the 5 Points West Community Alliance, telling what's best, the culture and environment of the business. And then we do it through the 5 Points West Chamber of Commerce, where we have Business Accelerator and the like that is online. And so I'm going to introduce to you, Brother Eric, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Y'all have a great day. Okay.
All right. Thank you. And I'm going to introduce to you Brother Jeremy Duckworth. He's with the Central Alabama Redevelopment Alliance. Not yet. He's Central Alabama Redevelopment Alliance. And he has partnered with us from the beginning and other chambers around Central Alabama to make sure that resources were available for us to grow our businesses. And so without any further ado, Jeremy, give us your spiel about the accelerator. How's that going? And then let's talk about doing business west of Birmingham.
Well, good deal. Thank you for that introduction. We appreciate that so much from Kara. The accelerator is going great. So we've had about 12 workshops that we've done so far this quarter with accounting and also with strategic planning. So we're going to wrap that up. And we've also had teams in the field working with micro businesses as well. And we also had some people working with computer classes, micro business owners working with computer classes with Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint, Word, Google Docs, QuickBooks, where they had their own personal tutor as well. And so we had a certificate ceremony about 3 weeks ago with University of Alabama. I almost said UAT because Frank says it so much, but the University of Alabama, the best college in Alabama by far. But we had a certificate ceremony with them, and it was amazing. And so thankful for our partnerships with UA and Auburn. And we're looking forward to our extending our partnerships with Birmingham Southern as well. We'll have teams in the field with them next year. And so that's what's going to happen next year. We're also going to look at launching a project, an initiative called Business Support Functions, which is going to be so cool to see. We're going to have help not only in marketing and communications for our micro businesses, but also accounting and also operational management. So that's going to be really cool. But right here, sitting next to me right now, is a good brother I've known for about 4 or 5 years now, that I'm really, really excited to have him here because he has a passion not only for community development, but also economic development. I always say he's one of those dons and one of the godfathers of economic development in Birmingham, because he's one of the guys I look up to and I learn from so much. That's Mr. Nigel Roberts. And so Nigel, thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you.
It's going to be a great time today. We're going to ask you a few questions, nothing too invasive, nothing too personal, what kind of toothpaste you use, but like more so, economic development questions, right?
Right.
And so tell us who you are, what you do at the county, things of that nature.
Okay, well, good morning. Definitely glad to be a part of the conversation. Again, I'm Nigel Roberts. I'm what I call a 22-year practitioner of community and economic development. And I've always had a passion in doing sustainable community and economic development, and especially in our neighborhoods and our communities. I have a soft spot for the west side of Jefferson County. My thought is, so goes the west side, so goes Birmingham. So I put a lot of time and effort and and hope into how we bring back the west side of Jefferson County. I currently work for the Jefferson County Commission as the Deputy Director of Community Services and Workforce Development. And in that role, it allows me to do just some of those things. Allow us to put the resources and direct resources for community and economic development and workforce development into those areas, which is very exciting. It's great to follow Eric's conversation because some of the things that he stated is critical to how our small businesses are look at how they go back into those areas, how they approach going after resources. Just some of the things that he mentioned about knowing what you're doing up front. So all the your cost, what you're getting into, exactly what kind of building you're going into, so you can afford to go into that building before you invest a lot of time and dollars into it. So hopefully, from hearing from people like Eric and having resources like we have here at the county, you can make those projects come to light.
Amen. Amen. So since you said that, now my follow-up question, right? What are some of the resources that the county has through not only your program, but some of your colleagues' programming as well at the county, that's available for not only micro business owners, but also your small business owners too?
Okay. And I would say there are a lot of resources available right now. I sit on a number of boards that are always looking to figure out how to get money out the door. The county, we do have small business programs that are available. We have a program that's funded through the Economic Development Administration, EDA funds, that we provide funding out in amounts between $35,000 and $350,000 from everything from startup businesses to those businesses trying to expand or just do some acquisition. One thing that Eric alluded to, you need to understand your resources and the funding that you're going after. When you're working to go after funding from a county, you got to understand that it's going to take time because municipalities tend to take longer to process projects like that. We're not banks. It's not, we're not in the business to do that daily or at the scale they do. So you have to go into approaching those kind of dollars with a different view. So you do understand it's going to take some time and it's going to be a little bit more pressure to get those dollars because these are federal dollars and they come with a lot more constraints and guidelines than you will have to think about when you're going to a bank. But on the flip side, these dollars are, more flexible when it comes to like collateral and the terms. We're probably more flexible than a bank if you have the tolerance or the patience to go after those dollars. Our EDA loan fund, again, you can use for pretty much everything from purchasing machinery, equipment, acquisition, leasehold improvements, just about anything if you can show the need and the ability to pay back.
That's always important, right?
Right. Our loans, even though they are, federal dollars or local dollars, we still require collateral. Again, we can be a little bit more lenient with our collateral than banks would. We're doing loans right now because of some of the COVID dollars that we received at 0% and deferred terms to allow businesses to have an opportunity to get started or use those funds during these COVID times. One critical thing about county dollars, our dollars we can't use inside the city of Birmingham, but we can use it in most all the other cities throughout the city of throughout the county because these are federal dollars and Birmingham receives their own allocation of those dollars. So we get a lot of calls about trying to do projects inside the city limits of Birmingham investment, but we can't use our resources there because of again, those two cities receiving their own allocations. And one critical thing that you have to remember whenever going to a municipality, for every $35,000 that you borrow, you do have to commit to creating one job, one full-time job. And those are probably the most strenuous things that you have to commit to when approaching these funding through the county.
That's awesome. How does a business go about qualifying for some of these resources? What are some of the things and I know you can't say everything,
Yeah.
but there's a few key things that you're looking for in qualifying for these resources.
Yeah. And you have to approach it really from a standpoint of really looking at it, you got to know what you're getting into. So when I say that, all funding funders have an application process. And you want to take that application, you want to come to the county and get our application. If you're going to be leveraging those dollars with bank dollars, you want to get the application. And you want to see, everybody's going to give you a checklist of everything you need to go after those funds. And one of the biggest things and biggest frustrations, people like me have when trying to, help businesses like on the west side of town is putting that good package together. And you gotta make sure you can package your business, put together that business plan, make sure your financials are adequate. You heard Eric talk about making sure your important working capital ratio, the current ratios, all those ratios that underwriters are going to be looking for to make sure you qualify for those loans. So the biggest thing, even before you come to me or some of the other funding sources, put together and don't be afraid to go out and pay for a good business plan or find a good business associate that can help you put those products together so you have an opportunity. We get a lot of applications, and if that application is not completely filled out, it's a chance yours going to sit on the side and we're going to write you a long letter just saying, hey, we need all these things. And it kind of puts you at a disadvantage because the red flags go up, when we get an incomplete application because we have to ask you too many questions, So, one thing, if I had to leave you anything today, make sure you put together a quality application and invest in it, just like you're trying to invest in that business. That business plan, is probably the most critical thing you can do on the front end. You heard Eric talk about asbestos and most of our buildings on the west side are old buildings, historic buildings, and they're going to take a significant amount of upfront money to bring back to life. And you want to go in, you don't want to go into that blind. You want to make sure those numbers are part of your application to make sure you're asking for the right amount of money the first time to be successful.
That's great. All right, so do we have any comments, questions in the chat that I can see real quick? Just want to make sure. No questions in the chat. So, go ahead.
I think one of the things I want to talk about, this is so important because government works as government does. And now that our businesses are growing and expanding to different parts of Jefferson County, and indeed the state of Alabama, it's good for us to know that we have a partner as we expand our businesses beyond the borders of Birmingham proper, and we're going across. the programs work somewhat the same. So it's not like, oh no, we're hopeless in Birmingham and Bessemer, right? These programs kind of mirror each other, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. I've had opportunity to work for the city of Birmingham and some, national nonprofits, and, all the funding sources are going to always be acting for the same things. Your municipalities, again, your government sectors typically going to, again, just have those extra guidelines that'll be attached when it comes to job creation. But for the most part, a good application, is what all funding sources and institutions are going to be looking for in trying to help you reach your goal.
Good deal. Well, thank you, Brother Nigel. We appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming on.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here.
We're so glad to have you with us, and we're excited about. Remember to use the chats. If you have any questions or comments or the like, please use the chat that's available. Hey, at this time, I'm going to ask one of those guys that went to UAB with us, right? One of the finest institutions in the state of Alabama and in the United States, UAB. And Brother Teddy, can you put your video on, or let me see if we can hear you. Let's see. All right, there you are. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hit your mute for me. And all right, let's see. Can we hear you?
Can you hear me now?
Let's see. I think volume wise, I'm having a challenge hearing. Let's see. I think your mute is not on. So let's see.
Yeah, my mute is not on.
Still no volume. Let me see. And it says that you are on, that you're unmuted. And so let's see what plan B is there. But one of the things we wanted to have in the 5 point is an update on Birmingham Rapid Transit. You all, this is a huge project. I'm beginning to wonder as projects are being held up and the like. Let's see. I don't know. It might be necessary to perhaps sign in again. What do you think, Jay?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you would see if you can log off and then log in again, right. And then maybe we can hear you.
Brother Frank.
But bus rapid transit is a huge deal. Just excited about having the opportunity to have such a project. Before it was fast tracked, and so as the director of transportation for the city said, we're going to have to go back to our original schedule that we had, and in that original schedule, it was that the Birmingham Rapid Transit would be a line with priority going from east to west, Birmingham, and so it's kind of a cool deal. And as there's been some work done and some things dirt moved as far as building a station in the 5 Points West community. And so let's see. What about now, Brother Ted? Can you hear what the question is, can we hear you?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I tell you what I am going to do. We're going to get audio one way or the other, right? And so, let's see. I'll see if I can share your. Let's see, from Carmen. All right. So people are saying some people can hear them.
Right.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Well, we're good. All right, Jeremy. All right. So we're good. All right, there you are. So we can hear you. Great. Brother Ted?
Yes.
Okay, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, so glad to have you with us. Brother Ted Smith, he is the chairman, the esteemed chairman, full of vision for the Birmingham Jefferson Transit Authority. And we're so glad to have you with us. Good morning.
Good morning. How you all doing?
We're doing great. And what amazing opportunity. A lot going on at the transit. You hired an amazing new director. And I know we're here getting an update on the BRT, but can you tell us a little bit about what's happening at the transit and how the outlook is, and then get to that project?
Yes, transit, we had some, what I would call small issues that we needed to change, some attitudes and things like that at the building. So we started moving some staff and trying to get the staff in that we needed. Then we started looking at grants and TODs. We looked at the World Games, what we got to do to come up with the BRT and a couple other things. So we are moving our organization to a new direction, and not just Max. Okay. Is there any other?
We're excited about it. You used the word TRD.
TOD. That's transit oriented developments.
Transit oriented development.
Right. In other words, we have to find other ways to bring finances to the organization so that we can keep the prices down low for the cities. So we're trying to bring in other, let's say, for instance, when I went to New York, Grand Central Station was probably making $4 million a month just on rents.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Let me say this is such a change in leadership with the Transit Authority. It's saying, okay, hold on, we're going to be more market driven. We're going to operate like a business as opposed to an entitlement entity. And I think that's probably some of the change that you talk about in culture, that shift to say, we've got to earn our way instead of waiting on handouts.
That's right. That's right. Our system is customer driven. So the customers have to be very satisfied with what you're doing to bring a service to the city. And when we talk about customers, we're not just talking about riders. We're talking about cities that invest, and counties that invest, federal government that invest, that are our customers. And we have to make sure that we're doing what it takes to move that organization forward, and for people to think that we're doing the right things.
Well, this is so amazing, because something happens when you have business leaders that are at the head of many of these organizations, then the culture begins to change. Business leaders know that being customer focused, your internal customers, external customers, and then you have your stakeholders as well. And that is a tough act to juggle, and building the right team becomes important. And I know that you gotta, I think that it was a great move as you look at transit-oriented development. You have a new board member that has some expertise in real estate that I think that has joined you.
Right. Miss Carpenter, Becky Carpenter just joined us. And we have Randall Minor too, out of Homewood, that has some TOD experience, and he's an attorney. So we have a whole lot more experience on our board to help us define where we're going when it comes to TOD projects.
Well, that's great. Well, there's a question, at the end of the day, a chairman of a corporation where there are major investments, they want to know, can we build the widget, right? Can we get it done, And so let's talk about where are we with the bus rapid transit. And I hope most of our viewers know what bus rapid transit is. But it's emerging across the nation, these projects. So if you would just introduce bus rapid transit, and then tell us where we are as a city.
Okay. Bus rapid transit was introduced to the federal government several years ago, and it's been implemented in several cities where the federal government put money up. Birmingham just happened to be one of 15 cities that had initially applied and got the grant.
Wow.
Okay, so the city of Birmingham got that grant. And that was unusual for Birmingham to get a grant like that. So this system was going to be built on about a $45 million grant, which has increased to almost 50 now, or a little bit over 50. The grant was to produce a system that the government wanted you to run at least every 15 minutes during peak and at least every 30 minutes on off peak. Now, in order to meet those goals, you have to run the bus a little bit more than 15 minutes. You have to average a little bit better than that. So that's going to get a system in Birmingham that we never had before, where it's going to run constantly, and it's going to be something that you can believe that's going to be coming. So the route times are going to be excellent. It's going to be a game changer for the city of Birmingham. City of Birmingham, this route will run right now from Woodlawn through the city near UAB Hospital, run all the way down 6th Avenue, all the way around Elmwood Cemetery to the Crossplex. Most people can see some routes being built right now, and most people can see that the stations in Woodlawn and in Crossplex are being built. So, you know, that's a good time for Birmingham.
Well, neat deal, you know, and so I guess it appears that we are on schedule. And do you have an estimated completion date for the project? Now, I know that's like herding cats. What time will all of the cats be in the barn, right? And as you know, cats do not march in single file. And we know about the construction delays and the cost of materials and all. But
Right.
is there an ETA for landing this plane?
Well, the ETA for landing this plane was actually last year. Miss Shaw came in from Atlanta from Marta, and she put the project back on track. And you know, COVID came in and it set everything back.
Yes.
This deadline is supposed to be the first part of June of next year, right before the World Games. That's going to give us just a little bit of time to make sure that our bus drivers are trained, you know, we have everything in order, and we have people hired at each one of those substations. So we are working right now to make sure that when June comes, we'll be on track.
Well, look, we're excited to hear about it. I got to tell you, I'm going to be one of the first ones coming from the Western area over here to see what it's like to be able to park my car or have my wife drop me off at the transits at the substation there in 5 Points West, and come to my office down one of our offices downtown to get to work and or to come to a meeting. So I think that this is going to be neat. These buses, I think the lights are going to be synchronized in order to that the buses would come straight through. Mm-hmm. And you'd be able to get downtown with little to no delays. And so we're kind of excited about that.
Yeah. We will have signal priority. That's what they call it, which will allow most of our buses to get through pretty good. As long as there's not heavy traffic, we should be okay. We're looking at moving this system further and bringing in more projects because of the infrastructure dollars that's coming in. So we want a north-south route and an east-west route, which would probably be the 31 route running through the middle of the city's 5 Points South and everything going up to the Galleria. So.
Well, neat deal. We appreciate it. I was checking the chats, and please read the chats. You know, we have on here one of the best and brightest minds, Sister Carmen, and Mays, and she has included in chats just some filler points for us, those of us that are unaware of what some of these projects are with transit. She's one of my mentors and doesn't know it. I've watched her for years from a distance. Ted, we appreciate it. And we look forward to having you back on to get an update and maybe meeting Miss Shaw one day as well with some good timely advance notice, right?
Right. You know, we wanted Miss Shaw on today because, you know, she can make this heard better than I have. You know what I mean? I haven't done a good job today, but Miss Shaw knows everything about the BRT. She was involved so deep that I mean, she could tell you what stop is coming, how many buses, how many employees we need, the whole 9 yards. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. She's an outstanding leader in transit. I've had the opportunity to be in a few meetings with her, and I mean, she's the consummate professional. So we look forward to it.
Okay.
And we thank you for your time, and look forward to talking to you again soon.
All right. Appreciate you.
All right. There is some news, and it just hit us on Tuesday. The mayor, it's one thing to talk about. It's one thing to talk about something. Yeah, I want to see this done. I want to see this done. I remember a few weeks ago, a meeting with, talking with the mayor, and we're talking about ABCDE, and he's talking about that we want to make sure that our folks in our community have access to goods, services, resources. And so the city council took a major step this past week, and the mayor made a major announcement of making a significant investment in recruiting businesses into these areas. If that's what it takes, a bold move. I don't know why it wasn't done before, but a bold move over the last 30, 40 years to say there's a way of getting businesses in here. We're willing to do our part and go the extra mile. And so we have with us Mr. Cornell Wesley, who is our executive leader of economic development for the city of Birmingham. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me okay?
I really can. I want to just say thank you so much for stretching to be with us, because this is an important update that I think really needs to go out across our community when you make this type of a statement. And from what the mayor has told me, you are taking point of it. Look, I will lead this cause. I am not going to delegate it or throw it to the side. So can you tell us a little bit about what's happening with this announcement from Tuesday morning?
Yeah, so a couple of things. One thing, from an infrastructure standpoint, we're going to create an actual supermarket program with these resources, a citywide supermarket program that, among other things, will identify sites, will engage technology to build our case as we present these particular sites to the institutions we want to inhabit them. And we are also, because we believe that time kills deals, will look internally, or rather within, on how we can ease the process to ensure that once they engage a city, from a zoning, from a licensing standpoint, we provide a concierge style experience so that they will continue to want to do business and expand here in our community.
Well, we are excited. I know the city made you dropped a number, and you said to get started with this program, we're gonna stretch pretty far and make it known ahead of time. Can you talk to us about that number and what that was?
So that number was 2 million, and that 2 million could in addition to what we already have in our toolbox. So we already have some amazing incentives. But now we have some actual cash to put into a deal, whether that is in site prep, whether that is in incentives, whether that's in acquisition. All of those things are on the table to make this implementation seamless. And again, we're going to be extremely aggressive and intentional with the use of those resources as well. So if that requires us going to Ohio directly to meet in front of Kroger, then understand we're willing to do that and are prepared to execute on those things.
Wow. Again, we've talked about this before, and as a community, is that, we've got to have the boots on the ground, but we've got to have the team in the air as well.
That's correct.
We've got new leadership here. And so I know at the government level, having worked closely with a lot of the administration at top, we got people that fly all over the place going. They're saying, let's go get it.
That's right.
I want to let you know that you're kind of new on the team, but I think you've been baptized under fire coming in here. But I want to let you know that as a community, that means a lot to us. Especially, we have the Crossplex over here, and we're going to come back and we're going to talk another time more extensively, all right, about this effort. But what that means to us to say we got a team in the air as well. We got boots on the ground, but we got a team in the air. So, you know, we want to say we appreciate that. The mayor seems to be pretty serious about this.
He is.
This doesn't look like one of those things that politicians do.
No, he has provided the directive and attached a timeline to it. He wants a grocery store in under a year, and I plan to execute on that. And honestly, my personal goal is to do it in half the amount of time. And so I'm going to be extremely aggressive. You guys are first up, and we're going to make certain that we deliver on this promise.
Wow. Well, look, guys, I know our time is short. I wanted you to hear specifically, you know, brother, my brother said something. He said that, Ms. Wesley said that the mayor not only said, this is what we're going to do. He not only said, we're going to put X amount of money to the side. He also put a timeline on that. And I want you to hear that because that's pretty significant. When you are in business, it's one thing to say, I'm going to do something. It's another thing to say that I'm going to put some money on. It's another thing to go public with it and then to put a timeline on it as well. So look, we're going to have a time when we come back. We look forward to having extensive conversation. We appreciate you pulling out of a meeting probably to be a part of this morning. I know that the mayor was tied up, but we wanted to hear, and we wanted the community to hear what was happening, what was on the mayor's heart, but more importantly, was there a leader assigned to getting it done? And ladies and gentlemen, I think we've met that leader, Mr. Wesley, to head that up. So thank you for your time this morning, and we look forward to having you back soon for a longer period of time.
Absolutely. God bless you and God keep you.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, to all, we are at the end of the time. What an amazing meeting. We will be sending it out and across the community. I encourage you to share it to your platforms. It is on the 5 Points West Chamber of Commerce Facebook page. You can share this with other pages. It is also on the Greater Birmingham Black Chamber of Commerce. It is also on the 5 Points West Community Alliance Facebook pages. In the absence of truth, a lie will prevail. Brother Corey, you got anything before we go, as we go?
Yes, finally, I would like to thank all the panelists for being on today. Great conversations. I've been intrigued to change up some of my thought processes on some of the projects that I have going on in the Western District. It's a couple of people that I know that I need to speak with now, Mr. Gusto, Mr. Wesley, and Ms. Carmen. I know I need to get in touch with all three of those people to continue to share ideas and try to move forward with the Western District. I was texting back and forth with our city council member, Ms. Clark, during the whole time. Thank you to Ms. Clark, because she gave me some great information on where I need to go. Again, man, the West is moving forward. And we thank you, people like you, Ms. Frank Wilson and Jeremy Duckworth, for putting forth the effort and making sure that we have the things that we need in the West. Thank you so much.
Hey, remember, visit us on 5pointswest.com. That's 5pointswest.com. And look to become a supporter of the 5 Points West Chamber of Commerce. We are not just simply a membership organization. We are an entity that supports business and growth in the 5 Points West of Birmingham. And so we are here to serve. We are not just serving those people that are supporters or investors in the organization. We are serving the 2,600 businesses that are west of Birmingham, I-65. God bless. Have a great day. Again, visit us online at 5pointswest.com or join us as a part of the 5 Points West Community Alliance. Thank you. God bless. Have a great day.